We found this place, I kid you not, we found this place right opposite. I don't know if you guys can see it right there. It says Machine Gun America. Only in America can you see a place like that. Hi, this is Alessio. Hope you're well. In this video, we're going to talk about which markets could do well potentially in the next major recession or depression. I'm also going to mention Bitcoin and crypto briefly in this video as well. Join me. Alright guys, welcome back. So many of you have been asking me in the comment section, hey Alessio, can you make a video about which markets could potentially do well in the next major recession or depression or bear market, which I think is likely to happen in the next 12 to 18 months. So join me in this video as I'm going to talk briefly about this. And I'm also going to mention crypto and Bitcoin in this video briefly as well. By the way, I'm making this video right now in Orlando, Florida, which is absolutely warm. I'm boiling here as I'm making this video. But actually the weather here is quite pleasant, even for December, I have to tell you. Alright guys, before we talk about which kind of companies or businesses could do well in a recession, let me first of all give you some context. You may remember in a previous video I mentioned there are strong warnings of a potential recession or even depression coming in the next 12 to 18 months. And again, at some point in the future, we'll talk more about that. But in this video, I want to try my best to answer the question many of you have been asking is, hey, you know, what kind of businesses or companies could do well in a recession, and what about Bitcoin and crypto? So I'm just going to take a walk here and talk with you guys about this. I'm going to show you some of the companies I'm seeing here around me right now here in Orlando, Florida. Now, one kind of company or business which might struggle in a recession or depression are perhaps the restaurant and hospitality sector. So restaurants, hotels, they usually suffer and struggle in a recession or depression. Now there are some exceptions here. I'm not saying all restaurants will do badly. For example, if you're one of the cheaper restaurants, which I'll show you an example in a few moments, you probably might do well. But the more expensive, the more pricey restaurants, I think they will struggle. Now, for example, I have Chili's here behind me. As you can see, it's a restaurant of Chili's. And over here on this side, I have Macaroni Grill. So again, I don't think they're expensive. I'm not saying they're expensive restaurants, but compared to cheaper restaurants, they may struggle because, again, in a recession or a depression, people often choose to go to the cheaper alternative as opposed to the more expensive ones. By the way, guys, check this out behind me. We've got a massive store here which they sell fresh orange juice, as you can see here. Florida, of course, where I am right now, is famous for its oranges, and I've been told you can get pure fresh orange juice right there. All right, guys, now another kind of market or industry which does usually quite well in a recession are consumer staples. So an easy way to think about consumer staples is a bit like thinking about things you need. So there are two types of industries: consumer discretionary and consumer staples. Consumer discretionary are things you want, like a new car. You don't have to have a new car, maybe you already have a car. Buying a brand new car is a luxury, so that's a consumer discretionary. Expensive luxuries or even leisure, these things are things you want. But consumer staples are things you need. And a good example of consumer staples are, for example, stores, as you can see behind me, Aldi or Walmart. These supermarket chains will probably do well in a recession. Why? Because people will still need to do shopping. Now, of course, their margins and profits may drop in a recession, but again, people will always need to buy their food somewhere. Hey guys, check this out. I just noticed this shop over here. It looks kind of wacky. Look at this one over here, guys. Gift shop, I have a wizard. I assume this is probably aimed at children. Now, another interesting store you see here in the US is this one over here called Dollar Tree. Now, Dollar Tree, and there's another company called Dollar General, they're your dollar store. So pretty much everything you see here in that shop is about $1. Very cheap, as a matter of fact. We have a similar version of this kind of store in the UK. I think it's called Pound Shop or Poundland, something like that. Now, why am I mentioning these kind of companies? Because the stock of these kind of companies, dollar stores like Dollar Tree and Dollar General, they usually do quite well in a recession or depression. The stock of Dollar Tree, I think it was, went up in the last major recession from the year 2008, 2009. Now, why is that? Why do these kind of companies do well in a recession? Well, for obvious reasons, because as people perhaps lose their jobs or have a lower income in a recession or a depression, what people do is they want to try and save some money, so they go to the dollar stores, again, cheaper stores, again, when money is quite tight in that kind of environment, in a recession or a depression. So again, these kind of companies, again, your Dollar Tree or Dollar General, or indeed Poundland and things like that, they probably will do quite well in that kind of situation. Now, one kind of restaurant which I think probably will do well in a recession or depression is IHOP. Again, as I mentioned before, I think most restaurants, the pricier restaurants, will probably suffer. They may struggle in a recession, depression, as people trying to save some money. But again, IHOP is one of your cheaper restaurants. They actually specialize in pancakes. They're famous for their pancakes. But I think because of the fact that they're a cheaper alternative, and they don't just sell pancakes, they do other kind of breakfast food and general meals, things like that. So I think you'll find that, again, restaurants like this one over here, IHOP, I think generally they do quite well in a recession and a depression. By the way, I've been to IHOP before and I love their pancakes. I actually might try their pancakes again at some point. All right, guys, before I finish the video, I'll just comment on two other markets as well, bonds and crypto. Firstly, bonds. I think if the next recession or depression is likely to be deflationary as opposed to inflationary, and I think the next major recession will be a deflationary one for reasons I've already explained in the past, but again, I'll comment again in the future, then bonds or long-term bonds probably will do well. And finally, crypto and Bitcoin. Now, as I'm sure you know from my previous videos, I've already mentioned this, that I think Bitcoin and crypto will likely suffer in the next major recession or depression. Now, I should say we don't know this for a fact because in the last major recession that we had, the previous one in 2008, Bitcoin and crypto didn't really exist at the time. So it's going to be an interesting experiment to see if Bitcoin and crypto probably will do well or not in the next major recession or depression. But my own personal view is that because Bitcoin, similar to the stock market, are risk-on markets, because Bitcoin and crypto usually go up when appetite for risk is strong, when people are feeling confident, again, that's a risk-on market, then that usually bodes well. That usually is a good period for Bitcoin and crypto. However, that changes in a recession. So in a recession and depression, usually because people are not feeling confident about the economy and the markets, and because most people are struggling in that period, Bitcoin and crypto will probably fall in value during that period, during a major recession, depression, or indeed a bear market. Now, I've discussed this in more detail in a previous video, which I'll put for you in the description. Hey guys, we're just driving around with Morris here along the streets here in Florida, in Orlando. Is it Orlando? Where are we? Okay. Kissimmee. We found this place, I kid you not, we found this place right opposite. I don't know if you guys can see it right there. It says Machine Gun America. Only in America can you see a place like that. If you ever get lost somewhere and you see that, you say, oh, okay, I'm in America. So this is what it's all about. Let me just show you guys. Look at that. So, all right, I think, Morris, we should go before they chase us down for filming them. All right, guys, so I hope you enjoyed this video today, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video update. From me and Morris, cheers, guys.